Okay, what's up, Scales crew? Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. This is week number 4 of the Review It All, season 2. Thank you for tuning in. Tonight we have a special show for you, which is about the art of communication. You know, it's something that a lot of us lack in everyday life and human compatibility. And I just felt like this was a very important topic, especially with the days and times that we're living in right now. So I kind of wanted to bring on somebody that I knew was a good conversationalist and I knew was a good public speaker and I knew could help get this point across. I'm going to let her introduce herself in just a moment, but I want you guys to grab your drink, and whatever else it is you need, your gummy, your lollipop, your blunt, your joint, whatever, get what you need and sit back and relax and enjoy this because we are getting ready to go over the art of conversation with my special guest, Sharron Fincher. Sharron, welcome to the show. Thank you, baby, for showing up.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited. Thanks for having me.
For sure. So, do me a favor and go ahead and just introduce yourself a little bit. Tell everyone that's watching and my Scales crew about yourself, like who you are, kind of what you do, and what made you want to actually participate in this actual interview on the art of conversation.
Okay. So my name is Sharron Fincher. As Jerron said, I am a lot of things. I'm a sexual assault advocate. That is my job that actually really pays me. It's what a place called Wayne County, well, formerly Wayne County Safe is called Avalon Healing Center. Now we just went through a rebranding. I am on the board of directors for the Ruth Ellis Center. As of tonight,
Ruth Ellis.
I am the vice president of the board of directors for the Ruth Ellis Center. Yes, congratulations to me.
Congratulations, girl. I mean, you better shut your mouth and open wide. I didn't know. That's what's up.
Yeah, I have 2 podcasts, one with my job called Access and Communications with Avalon, and I have my own personal podcast where I co-host with Deidre Smith, and that's focused about LGBTQ community and women's rights and things like that. And I do some other stuff. Yeah, Alpha Psi Kappa Fraternity Incorporated. I'm the supreme president. Jerron is my fraternity brother.
That's right.
Yeah, and I just do other things. I'm a community activist and all of that kind of stuff. So thank you for having me. I know we started talking about this before, and now here we are talking on your show.
Yeah, like for real. Like I told, like when I reached out to you, I was like, "Would you like to be on this art of conversation show?" I was so serious about that because I'm like, yeah, I know a lot of people that are talkative and they can talk and this and that, but I want somebody that can actually talk. That's won't speak on topic.
What were we talking about when that was it when I put up the post about the upside down smiley face and I didn't know what that meant? I think.
Yeah. And I was like, it means this. You should have seen me. I was literally laying on the couch typing it, trying to do like this. I'm like, she can't see you.
See a picture of it, right? Yeah. So that's what started. Cool. Okay. So I'm excited about the conversation.
Yeah, like for real. And then the one thing that actually made me want to reach out to you about it too was when you were reaching out about the some poetry for your seminar that you were speaking at. And that right there, and I was like, wow, okay, she's doing some really big things with public speaking. I gotta talk to her because I know she's a good conversationalist. I know she knows how to hold a decent conversation. So I'm like, yeah, I definitely. Right. But plus, with you being a prominent public speaker and vice president of the Ruth Ellis Center of the board of directors and whatnot, you do a lot of speaking. You have a lot of conversations with people, so you pretty much know the art of conversation and whatnot. So that's why I wanted to bring you on. But like, just out of curiosity, what is conversation to you?
It's communicating, it's listening, processing, retaining, thinking, and then giving thoughts or ideas back. It is literally that, communicating is not listening so that you're ready to answer. Because some people, before you even finish with your sentence, they already have what they want to say back in their mind, and they're not even listening to everything else. Or what started this conversation with me and you is this new way of communication, which is texting or these emojis, which drive me up a fucking wall because I am very black and white with text because I hate texting and people get offended by things. And I'm like, well, it's not supposed to be a whole drawn out conversation. One or two, yes or no. Did you get it? Yes. How you feel? Good. Like call and have a 2-minute conversation, which can pretty much take up an hour of texting back and forth and messing up people's tones, and you got an attitude and the other person didn't mean anything. Or the emoji conversations. I don't know what the hell nobody's talking about. I don't know what that means. I probably get shaded all the time and don't know.
I mean, I'm gonna piggyback on the emoji conversations because like I see some too that I'm just looking like that, like for a while, like it wasn't even the emojis, it was just the actual abbreviations of things like the laughing my ass off and laughing like an MF and all that stuff, just those types of things. And I would see that and I could make some of it out because it was common sense, but then there was other stuff like I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. Like, what does this mean? Like, I used to see the IBVS. I know that means now I'm being very serious, but when I used to see it, I was like, okay,
I don't know what that one meant.
Yeah, I thought it was about intravenous drugs or something like somebody. I don't get it. No. I'm like, if you're shooting up and you're trying to get fertile, like what's going on? What's IBVF? I didn't know. So it was like, yeah, I'm cool on that till I actually was like, you know what? I got a friend in this world that could definitely help me out there. And her name is Google. So I went to Google, was like, I just typed in uh text talk or text language. And it brought up a whole long list of all kind of abbreviations and stuff that people use when they're texting and stuff. And I'm like, wait a minute, you know what? I grabbed this thing right here and was like, never mind. I'm cool. But yeah, yeah, the texting is definitely a setback in our communication sometimes, simply because, like you said, we don't know context. We don't know how the one person is actually meaning it when they're actually saying it. We don't know if they're laughing, if they have an attitude, if they're trying to shade you, if they're trying to read you, or if they're just saying something that's just actually dumb and we don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I say dumb, not dumb intelligent wise, but they're just saying dumb just to say something stupid to make you laugh or just to crack a joke, So you never really know unless you put like LOL. I don't even use LOL no more. It's like ha 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 or laughing my ass off because I don't do the whole LOL. Like what LOL for what? There's some other stuff on a whole deeper level on why I don't use LOL because what I'm saying, I was looking, how I get deep in the rabbit hole and stuff. And I was like, oh, LOL means Lucifer our Lord. Yeah, I'm cool on that. I don't use that no more. I kid you not. Me and Andrew found out about that like, oh wow. I think it was when we first came into contact. He was either then or it was a little bit after that. And we saw that and I pulled it up and I showed him, I said, look at this. And he was like, yeah, no more. And we have not used like LOL and some of the other abbreviations. We hadn't used any of that crap in years. So I'm like, just in case. Just in case. Words have power. That's why that's why they teach us spelling. Because words do have power. Right. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, yeah, texting can be a huge conundrum in communication, but like we kind of just touched on it briefly just now with mentioning things, but like when you think of communication, what are some of the types of communication that you are actually privy to?
I mean, so now because like my schedule has picked up and when it's business calls, it's different. What I do is I really value time with personal calls or personal communication. I don't respond well to the texts, emails. I mean, that's a given, that's business, right? But when we're talking about text messages, I don't really engage. So I'll make people upset. But I really value sitting with someone and actually having a conversation, right. Like really listening to what they're saying. I like watching body posture and gestures and nonverbal communications are important. You could just tell a lot by sitting in front of someone and having a conversation.
That's right.
I like that. Yeah. I feel very complete and understood and understanding when I'm done with those.
Yeah. Nothing wrong with, in-person communication. I feel like that's the best type of communication anyway, because you're gonna, like you
Absolutely.
said, you can read everything, the context. If you're saying something that might make everything go left, you start to shut up. Like, oh, let me rephrase what I'm about to say. Let me think about that first. But with the types of communications, there are the irritants of communication too. Like I have a couple of my own, but like, what are some irritants when when it comes to communicating? What are some things that just irritate your spirit, your soul, and your whole being when you're trying to communicate with somebody, whether it be via text or open communication face to face? Like, what are some of the irritants that actually bring about when you're communicating?
Like if I feel like I'm fighting you to talk, I stop. You know what I'm saying? If I feel like we're not listening to each other, then I'll stop. And I just shut down. That's irritating because like what's the point then, right? What are
Right.
we doing if we're not listening to one another? What are we doing if we're not sharing, you know what I'm saying, thoughts and stuff? What I notice about communication is this though. A lot of people that I know who have had disagreements, when they actually sit and talk to each other, couple things happen. One, people who are usually like into it, like real heavy, if you sit them down and really ask, like, what are you mad about? And then what you mad about? A lot of times they ain't even mad about the same thing. So that one conversation, if y'all just sit there and really talk to one another, you'll realize, because that's happened to me, you'll realize that, hey, y'all not even mad about the same thing. And then once you find out what the other person's mad about, it's like, really? Like, oh man,
Like, oh, I
and,
don't even
and
know.
vice versa. Yeah. So those are really good things. For me, like I said, the negative part is fighting you to have a conversation. You got some people, they won't let you to word it. And then you know what else? Oh, when you talking and then they try to start talking louder than you, like, no. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. You won. You got it.
Oh, listen, I work in customer service
Uh-huh.
and I do style consulting for Gap and other things. And I have like a couple of other jobs outside of here too. And sometimes when I'm not talking, not so much to customers over the phone. I mean, some of them give me too much, and I just keep like, oh, okay, no problem. You have a good day.
Mm-hmm.
I can get through that. But when I'm actually talking to people, especially people I know, and we're having a conversation, and it's like I got to the third word and they cut me straight off. I cannot stand when you are interrupted consistently. And then when you're interrupting and I'm still trying to make my point and you continue to try to make, like you said, get louder to make your point. And it's not even an argument situation. Like, it actually, to tell you the truth, it low key happened last night. It didn't happen to me.
Yeah.
Because like I've learned with certain people, they're gonna cut you off regardless. It don't matter. It's like they got a miracle ear and they turn that bad boy off as soon as you start talking. You saying so it's like I'm just gonna keep it cute and on mute. And whenever you finally finish talking, then I'll say something. And then if you start back up again, yeah, I'm clock out.
Yep.
Just clock
Yep.
out. Like, oh,
Yep.
well,
Yeah.
actually, it's clock out now. I used to just check out, but I want to still be coherent. And when people are around me, just in case they having conversation, they might be like on the low key. I'm about to kill you. Oh, I want to hear that. So I know what to do. But yeah, that's the biggest thing about um, communication for me is when someone is like literally not so much even over talking, but just like cutting you off every other sentence. It's like, you know what? I get you have a point to make. I get you have an opinion, but in order for you to gain an understanding of the conversation, everybody needs to be heard. It can't just be about you being heard all the freaking time. Because if that's the case, then it's like, I don't really want to talk to you.
Yeah. Or the people who like they think they said one thing, but that ain't what you said. You're not articulating what you really want, or the people that talk at you, and then when you talk back at them, then they have tears. It's like,
Yeah,
well, why are you
you're
talking to
the
people like
issue.
that? Yeah, like why are you talking to people crazy? So then you talk to them crazy, and then they fall. It's like,
Yeah. It's like, it's just like people say, keep that energy. You have to keep that same energy. You have to actually, the thing is, the energy that you Receive is the energy that you approach me with. So if you approach me in a negative manner or you start talking in your attitude, it goes from just a regular conversation. And the next thing you know, it's this and all of that right there. I'm gonna go ahead and cut the conversation. I'm like, well, you know what? You got that. It's cool. We good because I don't need it. You know. Now, if you push the wrong button, which is one of the another irritant of conversation, is when people like to push buttons when they're talking, having debates.
Mm-hmm.
And if you push a button and you push the right one, you're gonna get that energy and that communication. You might not like it coming back, but you're gonna get it. So
You know what I do?
if you want calmness in communication, you approach it that way. Don't come at me rah rah because you're gonna catch rah rah back.
You know what I do usually in personal situations? Now, if it's a stranger, that's different. I have to defend myself because I'm not really sure where you coming from.
Okay.
But in personal situations, I feel like it is very effective. I just shut down. It takes two people to argue. You want me to go there with you? I'm not about to give it to you. I said what I said and I close it down. And that drives people up a wall.
When you
But you have
ignore
to teach
somebody,
people, you have to teach people how to treat you,
yeah,
you
that's
know?
right.
And it don't make sense for me to get bent out of shape because, you want some ignorant shit. I'm going to teach you how to treat me today. And when I decide to give you another chance, you'll know.
Yeah,
You'll handle that differently.
and if I decide to give you a chance, you better treat me the right way. What I have shown you how to treat me, because if you don't, then it's gonna turn out worse than what it was before. But
Yeah,
again, it might not. It might get to the point to where you're never spoken to again.
that part. Yeah.
You
People
know.
don't do well with rejection.
Yeah, I mean, there are people that I no longer like down like here in Ohio. There are like plenty of people here that I no longer speak to anymore because like I done told you how to treat me. I done told you not to sit here and do this, that, and the third because you know what it's gonna do. Y'all choose to continue to do it. So then when I snap, crackle, and pop, y'all are like, oh, no, he's tired. And so he's clapping back. And you have to understand, if you don't want that, don't push someone to that limit. Don't push buttons when you're having communication and when you're communicating with people and when you're talking, interacting. Don't push people's buttons. Even in
Yep.
the heat of the argument, don't go straight to the jugular. Keep
Hmm.
it calm and cool. You know what I'm saying? Now, we keep it honest, keep it real, keep it a 1 million. I might hit you there if I have to.
You did
I'll
what?
put you there if I have. If you take me there in the middle of a conversation and you say something and you hit below the belt or something like that, I'll take it there if we have to.
Oh.
I will get with you. I
Hmm.
will get with you to a point to where it's like I'll do it so eloquently that you'll look forward to the trip of where I'm telling you to go to hell. You're gonna look forward to that trip when I tell you to go to hell. You'll be like,
Okay.
damn, this shit sounds good. Let me get ready to go. That's how well I'm gonna read you for. But
Okay.
it's not just intentional, it's reactive, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is. But you know, that just leads me to like better conversations. What are some things that you think that people can do to have better conversations?
I mean, the approach. I think that, sometimes you have to remove your feelings. Um, and when we have disagreements with people and stuff like that, like we already have feelings, right? And you bringing that energy into the conversation, nothing is going to get resolved. So just the way you approach things. Also, does everything need to be discussed? Some stuff just doesn't need to happen.
Right. Pick and choose
Listening,
your battles.
yeah, listening to, when people talk, those are some things, but I'm a communicator. I like to talk. It's a learning process. It always is. For me, it was getting, what made me love doing public speaking?
What was that?
Nikki Giovanni is my favorite poet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a friend of mine, she said, I got some tickets to see Nikki Giovanni at Wayne State. This was some years ago. And she said, I got some VIP tickets. And I'm like, cool. And this is okay. So this is the year that her book Bicycles came out. And we go and I'm checking out Nikki Giovanni. And the way that she just moved the crowd, and she was real smart, and she was real witty, and she was charismatic. And she talked about Bill Cosby, and she lifted up her sleeve and had Thug Life and honor of Tupac on her. But the way that she moved the crowd, I was like, dang, I want to learn how to do that. And I'm still learning. But it's an art to it, and it takes a while to get it. to where
Mhm.
you got to make people want to hear what you have to say.
Yep.
So it's a lot of watching, it's a lot of body language. I understand that there are some things that I can talk to some people about that I can't talk to other people about.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that I can have more open conversations with some people than I can others.
Mm-hmm.
It's just really assessing the situation.
And knowing your audience.
What's Yeah, what's starting to happen now? I just had a meeting today. The United Nations, is in New York every year,
Mm-hmm.
March. So March 24th, and anybody that knows me knows I kick and scream for like masculine presenting people, masculine presenting lesbians. We ain't at the table. We're starting to be at the table. I did something with an organization with Tony Porter
Mm-hmm.
back in January. Earlier, was it
Okay.
earlier this month? Yeah, earlier
Okay.
this month, where it was his manhood symposium, which he's a man. He talks about men and toxic masculinity and abuse in the community with men and stuff. And this
Mm-hmm.
was the first time a masculine presenting lesbian was asked to be a part of that panel to discuss masculinity and how it pertains to me and why I feel like we need to be there. So that was huge. But then I got a call today where here it is, the masculine presenting lesbian again is going to be on a panel at the United Nations
Good
to
stuff.
talk about what it is to be a woman and what that looks like for me and violence against women and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But now when I do those types of discussions, I am talking about things from my perspective, but it's not about me. And so I start to remove so much of myself from those conversations
Mm-hmm.
and really try to take what I get from other people. One thing that we have to do when we're communicating with people is not be selfish. In anything that you talk about, somebody wants to hear a piece of them in that. That's what engages people. They have to be able to relate to you in some kind of way. And in order for you to be able to do that effectively, you have to listen to what people say and then learn how to articulate it and project that. That's how
Right.
you get people to talk,
Right.
to
Right.
listen to
See?
me. Yeah.
Let's see how scales crew, people out here watching. I'm telling you, this is you better listen to some good shit. This is the best way for you to learn how to communicate,
Yeah.
because here's the thing, this is my thing, because some of my scales crew out here, y'all are a little bit younger than me. It's okay. So I'm gonna give you some little older brother advice. When you get out here in the real world, you can't speak the way you text. You can't speak the way you have whole different types of dialect and dialogue with other people. You're going to have to be able to articulate everything that you are wanting, everything you need, and you're going to have to be able to articulate to people when it comes to in professional settings. You're going to have to be able to articulate what idea you are actually trying to portray. Because if you don't, they're just gonna look at you like, okay, well, this is a waste of an hour of my day. At least I didn't have to go do extra stuff at work.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they're gonna feel. So just make sure that you guys are actually, you know, honing in on your communication skills. Make sure you guys are practicing sitting down. Like even if you know what I'm saying, a lot of I know a lot of millennials and whatnot that are aspiring to be public speakers or people out in the public eye. Practice in that mirror. Practice holding the conversation. The person in the mirror is this person speaking back. You'll be doing all of the talking, but it'll help you in a one-on-one with yourself exercise as far as when it comes to communicating and articulating your ideas and getting things across. It's an easier way.
Mm-hmm.
But this brings me to my last talking point, which is the healthiness of conversation. Like
You muted, Jerron.
what makes conversation so healthy?
Everything is about feelings. How do you feel when it's over? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, it's different things for different people. I want to touch on what you said about young people and something that I wish happened more. I think it still
Okay.
happens, but I don't see it as often. And I know this happened for me, is to talk to elders.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to people who have done what I want to do. I listen to them. I don't presume to know everything. And even if their advice may not ideally be what I think may work for me, I'm still going to listen. Because what that does is make the other person want to hear what you have to say back. You want to make the other person be receptive of what you have to say and retain that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're building relationships. So when you're trying to do things out here, you know, especially in the LGBT community, you know, there is a gap. There's not a lot of generational conversations that happen unless older people trying to sleep with younger people and all of that. And I don't get down with that.
Yeah.
You know, they trying to mac on them, but it's not a lot of conversations about stuff. I'm about to do a project where I'm talking to elders about their experiences. What is starting to happen is all that wisdom that them elders have, they
Mm-hmm.
passing it on to me. They seek me out. They want to talk to me. You know what I'm saying? And then I guess I'm in the middle because I can talk to the young people too. But what I try to do is bridge that gap. You know, the best thing is to have everybody communicate, share experiences, and respect each other. When I leave conversations where I feel like I've heard the, even if we don't agree at the end, where I feel like I've heard the person and the
Mm-hmm.
person heard me, and it was a healthy conversation, meaning we wasn't yelling and hollering and cussing and screaming, but we actually talked. I might have learned something from you and you learn something from me, right? Because that's what communication is about. Those are the ones I feel the best outcomes are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Real talk, real talk. Something I was gonna piggyback on, and that's the like when you're listening to elders and what you said about like even if it doesn't apply to you, you still listen because it's not only what I'm saying gaining that rapport, but you're also making that person feel like that what they have to say is important. Even if it's not important to you, you still give that person that feeling that what they said was important
Mm-hmm.
because then they're feeling like, okay, well, maybe I can still continue to get through to someone. Let me continue to keep talking to people. But if you actually make someone feel shut down, you never know what type of impact that may have on them
Mm-hmm.
as a communicator. So we got to be careful about that, and
Everybody is a gem though. Like everybody has something about them that's special. Like God didn't put everybody down here and didn't give everybody something special. Sometimes you just don't know.
right,
You know what I'm saying? But there is something to learn from everybody. You can't take nobody from granted. I treat the custodian the same way I do the damn CEO. I don't care. They're all people, and
hmm,
there's something that I can get from everybody.
yep,
And I think that may be, there's some people that don't really care for me, and that's fine. But I think that attitude is what maybe draws people because at the end of the day, we just trying to make it, right?
right, yeah. And to be honest with you though, like one of the unhealthy things about conversation is people that just tend to listen to any and everything. And when I
Mm,
say any and everything, like you just listen to what any and everything, you base and judge your opinions on things, people, places, whatever, based off of what someone else has told you, not so
mm,
much your own personal experience. So then when you're speaking from someone else's experience and you're talking about it, you're not really being genuine in the conversation. You're speaking from somebody else's opinion. You don't even really have an opinion about it, but you're making up one based off of what you said. And I can kind of pick up on that quick when somebody's doing that. And I'm just like, girl, you
yeah.
ain't watched that movie. Why is you lying? But I'm gonna listen to
Yeah.
you. I'm gonna
That's
let you
some
feel like
personal.
something
That's some
important.
personal problems. They got personal issues. I always say everybody issue with me ain't got nothing to do with me and everything to do with them. Like I live
Yeah,
by that. I refuse to engage in your world of crazy. I'm just not gonna do it. When you come out of there, come hit me up. Maybe we could chill. But I'm not about to go down the dark path with you. No
yeah, facts, facts.
boundaries. Boundaries.
Yeah, boundaries. And a lot of people just don't seem to have that. You know, um, it's. I think there are a lot of people that do watch my channel are gonna appreciate this actual episode because I do see some people who that I know personally that watch my show, and they actually said that they were gonna tune in because they wanted to learn better communication skills. They wanted to learn what the art of communication really was. So that let me know right there this was something important because people actually do need this. And I also have people who watch my show that don't speak up, that don't say anything. They just allow themselves to either be doormats because they feel like it's either what they're used to or what that's what they deserve. And it's just
Mhm.
because they don't communicate what they want, what they need, and their desire. They don't communicate that to other people. So it makes other people feel like, okay, well, they're just like another speck on the shoulder. So let me just go ahead and either flick it off or brush them with my foot or whatever. So I feel like this is gonna really help some people to actually start, using their voice and just speaking up and communicating.
I hope so.
And I know people get nervous when they're talking to people, but sometimes you gotta swallow that shit and just
Mhm.
like, speak.
Yeah, that's why I say always, I've always been an activist, so to speak. So I started talking to activists and figuring out what that looked like.
Mhm.
We're working with Detroit Police Department now to create an advocacy program with them for the LGBTQ community because I'm like, people want to do it, they just don't know how. So you
Right.
connect with people, and don't take no for an answer. Like if this is important to you, if you want to learn how to speak and be heard and speak up and all of that kind of stuff, somebody that you see doing it may not have time, may brush you off. You keep coming back because eventually you will be noticed. You know what I'm saying? You have to fight for what you want, but just learn how to do it the right way.
That's right. That's right. So see, yeah, hopefully this is gonna teach a lot of people to do it the right way when it comes to communicating in the art of conversation. So um yeah, but before we get up out of here, I just want to first say thank you again. This
Thank
was
you.
an amazing interview. This was a great conversation. Like for real, like no pun intended, but this was a great conversation on the art of conversation.
Thank you.
you know. But before we get up out, um, is there anything you wanted to say out here to say to the people out here that are watching about communication and whatnot? Just your last final thoughts, and if you have any way for them to kind of like follow your work and follow your accomplishments and how you're if you have any actual speaking engagements that they can actually tune in via Zoom or whatnot,
Mhm.
drop that knowledge real quick.
Yeah, so I have a page. It's called Sharron Fincher Activist Advocate on Facebook, and anything that I do, I usually flip it over to there. That's just my business page, and it keeps track
Mhm.
of everything.
Mhm.
Like I said, I'll be speaking at the United Nations on the 24th from 1:30 to 3:30 in March, and it's just a couple of things, but as they come, because they're starting to come, and then April is going to be Sexual Assault Awareness Month, so we have a lot of things going on with that. Um, I put it all on that page, and that's on Facebook. But as far as just the last thing to say about communicating, find your comfort zone. No, don't be comfortable. Uncomfortable conversations create change. Find your voice. It's not gonna come instantly, but be patient and kind to yourself, and it'll happen. And surround yourself with people who you see doing the things that you want to do. Not that's always fun, but the things that you want to do. And I'm telling you, that stuff is going to rub off on you.
Real
Yeah.
talk. Facts.
Mhm.
Apple
Facts.
under the cap facts. For real.
Facts.
Diggity facts, yo. So yeah, you guys make sure that you follow her on her page. I'll make sure I put that actual page and everything down in the description below. Click down below,
Yeah.
Um, so that way you guys can go and check out some of the awesome things that she is doing. Like she is actually one of the people out here in this world that's helping to make change and starting change. And you got to remember that change starts with you. So, follow her. She may inspire you to do a whole lot more than what you ever thought you could be. This woman is very inspirational. Like, trust and believe when I say she's a very inspirational person. And even though it may not be something that she does that you're interested in, just her
Yeah.
words alone and how she can actually, move you, she can actually motivate you. So don't
Yeah.
pass it up. You know what I'm saying? Again, I'll put the information down in the description below
Mm-hmm.
for you guys to check it out. But once again, I have been your host, Sharron Howie, aka J Lee. Thank you for tuning into episode 1, 2, 3, 4 of
Thank you,
season 2 of the
Sherrod.
Review It Alls. Thank you once again to my special guest, Sharron Fincher. I appreciate you coming in, love. Ma, thank you so much. Thank you, Scales Crew, for tuning in. We will see you guys next week, and we are out of here.